Hello again, guys. This is Triptych with a Fleet Ops game. The version is 3.27. The map is Rotary Super Collider, and this is a three-player free-for-all between NiveusLuna, Vastrakal, and Chips. This time I checked properly, and I do know that NiveusLuna chose Federation, and I do know that Vastrakal chose Romulan, and I think Chips went random. Maybe he picked at the last second and I didn't see. So we have, we were talking about playing with Shroud, and they decided they did want to play with Shroud, so they'll be taking a moment to scout out the moon locations on this map. So Rotary Super Collider, basically, it keeps your, it's not a very big map, but it keeps your star yard, quite back, and then you have very forward, kind of vulnerable expansions, and then you have one forward dilithium moon here and a tritanium moon off to the side. There is also a bit of a green nebula that you can actually use here, although people don't very often. I think a lot of them don't know about it. And then everybody has a super forward expansion here that they could try to take, and then there's obviously the middle area. And I have a purple nebula here right now. I might change it. The idea was that, this advantages non-Borg players, so this should advantage Borg players, but we'll see. In this setup, though, with only 3 people, there is a big open spot over here, but the ability to take advantage of it is a bit tricky. So we have Vastrakal in the bottom right. He's going a bit similar to the last game, where he's going double mining first, followed by star yard research and 2 mooners. 2 mooners per mine. Oh. He might have actually... Oh, no, there's... Next to him, NiveusLuna is going... I see early Antares and the engineering and the science. So he's going for a hardcore Starfleet command rush. As you can see, this actually delays your home storage dock a bit, and it's a bit tricky because I think in this build you actually want to get like a single load of tritanium in around the time, because that allows you to build a single monsoon in addition to the Starfleet command. I'm trying to remember exactly what the build is like. People have really optimized this build quite a lot. And then in the top, Chips is going for an S2 prototype. I don't see a tech facility yet, so he might be looking to expand a bit. He's got his home mining. Yeah, and a couple of these constructors sitting around waiting, so maybe he'll... Oh, okay, there he goes. Oh, okay, he's got a second construction yard. He's going straight for a forward position, trying to claim these resources. And it's an interesting one because in many cases this forward expansion would help you defend your home, but this big amount of blocking here actually means that isn't necessarily the case. So even if you have this here, people can still send a couple ships back here and raid your home dilithium pretty easily. But he has his S2 prototype out. S2s being very glass cannon units with the 25 offense, 18 defense, bonus attack versus long range. I don't know if we'll have any long range. Oh, we're going to see some Romulan turrets, it looks like. Oh. Scout gets a little bit too close, but its shields do not go down. So we're going to see warp-ins. In a free-for-all, I wouldn't expect him to go warping in on somebody's expansion. I'm expecting to see just warping into his own home and basically just building up his power that way. First monsoon starts, has a very long build time on it. Warp-ins are... The first warp-in is not that dangerous. It's the second warp-in and the third warp-in. It's when people start stacking warp-ins together that they can become a huge problem. There's a storage dock over here. He has the 3 miners, which gives you like about 10% greater income. And, oh, okay. Chips has actually canceled his yard in favor of more mining. I think he might... That's a tricky one, because I think you really want that yard to secure this location. But in this free-for-all, people don't really seem to want to be aggressive. Nobody wants to make the first move and become a threat to the others. So I'm expecting a tech lab there. Yeah, there we go. So he's actually decided... Chips has rather changed his mind. He's getting a bit of S2 production, but he wants to go for a large yard in the middle, which is expensive. It's like almost 1,500 dilithium. So I guess he'll be able to afford it pretty soon here. And if he does get that up unharassed, it will be a pretty powerful position for him. So he can use it to defend this moon and maybe even go for this pair up here. This one's really out in the middle of nowhere. Vastrakal getting his mining up here. Interesting location. And the pre-fine components research takes forever, and basically it makes it so that your turrets cost less supply. And if you play other RTS games, you might be like, well, why does turrets cost supply in the first place? And I say, I don't know why they do that, but they do. So that's for a turret build. He's hoping to fortify. Romulan turrets in this version are pretty awful. But the pre-fine ability doesn't take much. It mostly just takes time. I think it costs like 20 supply or something. So, and having turrets is better than not having turrets. So, oh, looks like a Dominion scout got captured there. So we see the large construction yard coming up. And did he build a single S2 or did he cancel it? Okay, he's got one S2. S2s are very tricky because a small number of S2s will just die horribly. You have to have like 5 or 6 S2s before they really become a threat, because the S2's solution to combat is to kill the enemy before the enemy kills them, and the enemy will kill them very quickly. More and more miners and things from Chips. Looks like he wants to saturate this. He canceled it again. Oh, this is so dangerous, dude. Like, NiveusLuna, his warp-in rush is actually the first build to have military presence. So Luna could have just flown right up here and knocked you out, man, and then you'd be pretty much out of the game. Or you'd certainly be hampered pretty badly, you know. S2s, they're not going to fight. They're not going to be able to fight warp-ins. Like, they're going to have a really hard time. Especially with the monsoons there. Monsoons actually deal extra damage to S2s because of this passive. Okay, and he's saying, Chips is saying he doesn't play a lot of Dominion. I believe that. Dominion are a tricky one, because a lot of people are like, oh, I play Federation, and Dominion are the race that's most similar to Federation. And then they get to the Dominion, and they're like, oh, shoot, it's so very different. Because Federation small yard ships are really good at surviving and, like, defense, and then they get warp-ins. Whereas Dominion small yard ships are terrible at staying alive. Really easy to kill, and then like their large yard stuff is a lot harder to run. So like Dominion are very different from Federation, and they can be very tricky to learn, especially on small maps. But it looks like we have a nice peaceful agreement here between the factions. Everybody wants peace. Vastrakal has not built a single combat ship, which could cause some very serious problems if NiveusLuna decided to move out right now. And honestly, he'll be playing catch-up against Luna. Yeah, he's going for a Tavara rush. So, yeah, we have a Tal Shiar Academy, we have an upgrade facility, and honestly, like, his economy is not bad. He's on 3 moon pairs, which is the most out of these players for now. So with 3 moon pairs of income coming in, like... Oh, he's actually got extra on the dilithium. Another scout got killed. But yeah, with 3 moon pairs, like, he can do a lot. You know, he's getting his Warbird Yard. He'll be able to build Tavara, a Tavara if he wants. Although that might not even be the best thing, because Tavaras have a build time of like 2.5 minutes. So it'll be a very long time till that Tavara comes out. And he needs to be building small ships, even if it's just Riennes or... Oh, I'm sorry. I should have checked these avatars. He is actually Muriel. And PureTech and Mason. But, okay, so he's actually Muriel, so he can build 2 Tavaras, and he gets the slightly higher speed. So interesting thing, in 3.27, the Warbird Yard actually does not require the Star Yard. You can go straight Research Institute into Warbird Yard. Yeah, look at that. Maybe it's a full 3-minute build time, or almost 3 minutes. So that's a bit of a tricky thing. You don't need the Star Yard in order to get them, so he's sort of taken the roundabout route. And like when this Tavara comes out, there's just going to be so much Fed stuff because the Fed's Luna's ready with the second warp in. Chips has finally started producing. You got the prototype in there, which is a bit dangerous, but he's getting S2s. You have the probably want the Alpha Ketracel white passive or special ability. You got to get more though. You got to build out of this yard. You got to get a large yard. Okay, yeah, he's getting supply production. And Vastrakal is looking at this nice big empty space up here, and he's like, I wonder if I could mine from there. I wonder if he ends up with the second Warbird yard. Like, honestly, with what he's got now, it wouldn't be that bad for Vastrakal to get a second Warbird yard. I would recommend just going Star Yard chips, but he's got the income, but he doesn't have the production. Actually, mostly just because the... Oh, there goes some S2s. Killing off a single miner. They might kill that. No, they're going to run. And they are very fast. These are 140 speed ships, so they can actually get out. However, monsoons are also 140 speed, and that's a problem. Second warping is too much. Did that... Oh, yeah, that one died going into the yard, and so did the second one. Yep, S2s are extremely hard to micro. You can't have them in combat like this. You need to strike and fade. You need to hit the enemy and run away. And Niveus, concerned about the Dominion, is running, but honestly, he could have just killed this all. S2s are also very difficult to yard flip, like when the enemy is fighting you on a yard, to have it come out of the top of the yard and send it back to repair again before it dies. S2s actually can't do that, like a lot of other ships can't. Oh, and the prototype died. Oh, so now he can't build them out of this yard unless he builds another prototype. But as I mentioned in the previous replay, he is pure tech, so actually the S2 prototype is cheaper than a regular S2, so it's totally fine for him to rebuild it. But yeah, S2s, if this much Fed ball was on top of his yard, they could kill the S2s before they even get into the repair yard. So he needs more ships. He needs more ships very, very badly. And I wondered, I did kind of wonder... Okay, Vastrakal is getting a second star base. It's still got a minute and a half on it, and it's just been scouted, so Chips might go kill that. But this is what, 2,000, 1,000? He had the resources. What did he just start? Okay, he just started a second Tavara, and he upgraded this one, I bet. Did he? It's hard to tell. I think those are the upgraded stats. Okay, so he just dropped a ton of resources on that one Tavara. And here we're going to see Chips is just going to get totally annihilated. S2s are a very difficult ship to use effectively because they're so easy to kill. Actually gets that one in the yard. But yeah, like if in order to fight this kind of Fed ball, you would have needed to be double yarding these for a very long time. You would need to have like 15 S2s at this point in order to properly fight this. And does he have his third yet? No, but Luna's about to get his third warp in. And here we see where'd he go? Oh, there's the scout. So we have a Tavara. Epic Tavara. Did you research that? He's getting the special ability. So the Tavara special ability immediately boards the enemy with 75 people, which basically has a huge difference between something you can instantly capture and something you can't. I think you can't even capture a monsoon. I think because I think it's affected by 2/3. 75 divided by 3 is 25. I think it kills like 50 crew. Or no, wait. Doesn't it also have something about crew? Oh, okay. So I think maybe you can actually capture a monsoon with a single use of that special, which is super nice. And when you have 2 Tavaras, you can use the special twice to capture something like an Excelsior, or just 2 monsoons. So that's very nice. And you can see the damage output of this Tavara is going to be super good. Special abilities taking it. Where are you going? No, did he give it a repair order? No, dude. No, you have 112 defense value. They're not going to kill you that quickly. And if you have the advanced cloak, you cloak in only 1 second instead of 2 seconds. And it's an advanced cloak, so it won't be detected except by green pings. So like you can actually play very aggressively with a Tavara, even against this. Although there's about to be another warp in. Yep, there it is. That'll be a problem. So yeah, this match is very quickly turning into a 2 versus 1 against Luna, which is fair, because it seems clear here that Luna understood his race the most going into this game. He executed his warp and rush. He got plenty of yards. He's going for a rod yard, and he could even get a turret. Who is fighting? Oh, I think just a scout went by. Chips is actually getting online with more mining. He could go for a large yard now, or a third, honestly, or even a fourth small yard. If he really wanted to go into the S2 escort cruiser production, he certainly could. He has the economy. He has the income for it, just not the industry. Vastrakal has taken another base. I'm wondering if someday in this game, Luna is going to come in and kill this whole base, and then Vastrakal will just have another base. And now he's building Nirexans. I fully approve of this. Nirexans are the highest tech warbird other than the Tavara, and they have an excellent special ability that lets them do tons of damage in a short amount of time. They'll still die pretty quickly, but, you know, there's something. Here's a platform. Here's Excelsior 2s. Here we go. Kill that scout. That's actually really important because the scout can detect you. And they're running again. He's thinking about Laval's, but you actually do want to face them because your pulse damage is forward-facing only. Yeah, you can fight this. You can actually stay and fight this. Like, turn this guy around, dude. And especially, like, if they're focusing on one of your Tavaras, you can have the other Tavara just sitting there pounding on them. What the? Oh, he captured it. Oh, he used the ability. He's used the ability to capture 2 monsoons. I mean, that's one kind of hit and run. Oh, it has 5 crew, but that's so huge, though. I think when you capture them like that, they do lose all their shields, which is unfortunate. But, yeah, okay. So, even, I don't know what the cooldown is on that, but even when NiveusLuna fights those Tavaras, every time a fight starts, the Tavaras are going to capture 2 monsoons just off the bat. Just like, free ship. Hi, it's mine now. So yeah, in that case, Vastrakal not even worried. Now, Nirexan is out. Nirexans are one of the ultimate glass cannons. Yep, there he goes. So the Nirexan has 35 defense value, and it takes extra damage from short range. So a Nirexan in combat will just melt really, really fast. It's unfortunate. Triptych's mod increases their defense, by the way. But its offensive potential is insane. It has 43 offense, it has the pulse weapons, but when it activates multi-purpose weapons, it deals an additional 50 damage per second for like 5 seconds. It's about 250 bonus damage is what I know. And it's pulse damage, so it does extra, it only does full damage to like small ships. So it's only 30 damage against like against a large ship. Oh boy, Mason torpedo turrets. So like against a medium size or a large ship, it's not 250, it's more like 150. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what it would be. Against medium ships, it's 200 damage. Against large ships, it's 150 damage. Still, though, 150 damage from every single one of your Nirexans, in addition to its regular shooting damage at the beginning of the fight, is really impressive. So you can have a couple Nirexans that just light up the enemy in the first couple seconds of the fight, and then after that you want to run away because your Nirexans are going to die super fast. And it's actually really nice to have like cheaper ships in there, like even like Riens and Generics, because they'll be auto-targeted before the Nirexan and they can tank for it. In Triptych's mod, I have the Centurion refit for the Generics, which is like specifically there to tag team with Warbirds, because it has 28 defense but only 22 offense. It's really cheap, and the idea is your Centurions sit next to your Nirexans and the enemy units will auto-target the Centurions first. Now, Chips has started getting more ships. Still don't have the special, but he is going to start killing monsoons. I think he's going to lose ships. Yeah, like there's enough Federation stuff here that the S2s are not going to be able to get into the yard, which means he's going to take terrible losses. However, he is also killing monsoons on the other side. very quickly because of the sheer offense value. So this is actually, the winner of this fight is Vastrakal because both of these players are going to take heavy losses. The second winner of this fight is NiveusLuna because Chips is just losing so much stuff. Okay, there, now he's going to get stuff out alive. And honestly, these Excelsiors might die, but Luna doesn't actually care at this point. In fact, he'd rather lose them because he's maxed out on Warpins. This is when some of our players, I think it was Admiral Drazon, was mentioning, like, this is when it's okay for Luna to just start decommissioning his Excelsior 1s, because then he can just call in more Warpins and get better stuff. Oh, but on the top, this undefending mining base of Chips is getting wrecked by the Nirexans and the Tavares. Now, these S2s have quite a lot of crew, so it takes 2 Tavares specials to capture one of them. Okay, yeah, he's just pulling back. But yeah, that's... Let's see. So the Nirexans take a little bit of extra damage from short range. So the S2s, and with their torpedo damage, the S2s will actually kill the Nirexans very quickly. However, the Nirexan pulse damage, especially with its special active, will do a ton of damage to the S2s. So if this fight happens, it will be bad for both of them. Yeah, Chips is pulling back. He does have quite a lot of production. Did he get another station? No, I guess, okay. Chips is really just invested in his long-term economy. He's gotten a lot of supply mining stations up. He's lost some things. Here we go. There you're going to see a lot of firepower on the Nirexan, but he pulls back and he says, no, that's too much, and now he's going to... Oh, okay. Never mind. So Chips... Vastrakal actually captured a single S2, and then all the S2s fired on it, and that actually distracted their firepower for a second and allowed the Nirexan to escape. So Vastrakal playing some very nasty Warbird shenanigans. Here we have the lovely Daredex. It does have its special that lowers enemy rate of fire, but I think it only does it by 10% in this version, but that's still pretty nice. Its stats are also very mediocre in this version. Considering how incredibly expensive it is. And it has torpedo damage, which is actually not the best, considering Chips has only small ships. Well, now he's got B5s. Where did I miss that? Oh, there it is. Okay. So he does have B5 production, which he's prepared for. B5s cost a crap ton of supply. You saw that. I think it's 83 supply for each one, but they have very low mineral costs. So it's important to have supply mining like this. So yeah, 3 supply mining stations is going to support his B5 addiction. And so he's going to do okay now. And the fighters will tank for the S2s. It's a decent composition. He really does want to get the Alpha Catcher Solid White special and start using it carefully. You cannot use it on all of your ships because each one lowers your crew. But if you use it on one of the ships, then all of your ships get a huge rate of fire bonus. And here we see a flyby raiding attack. Now this is tricky because these Excelsiors are so slow. And Luna has high supply. He's bought supply recently, so when all these Warpins die, it's going to really cut down on NiveusLuna's supply. That Nirexan actually did make it out, and every single Romulan ship that cloaks out is one that didn't die. That ship might get away. A little bit of mismicro there, but you see, like, the Excelsiors are so slow moving. Even though they have 80 AI, they resist the damage from all of these Warbirds. Like, you can't escape with them, so they're just going to die. And you can see NiveusLuna is just going to have his supply wrecked. That's one, that's one. And over here, a perimeter has gone up. He'll want to upgrade that in just a moment with the area of effect attack. And these guys are giving me a... Yeah, that was a lot of... He lost like 90 supply in that. Probably, yeah, he's calling in more weapons. So, Alright, strap in, guys, because this could be a very long game. Like, a very long game, because we've hit a point where our competitors are very evenly matched against each other. Like, Vastrakal has Warbirds, and he's not losing any of them. Although that might actually die. So many torpedoes. Oh, gets out. But, like, NiveusLuna has a torpedo turret here, and he's got Warpins, and he has his Urati production, and he's switched to Intrepids, which are going to do way better against these Warbirds. Intrepid's resisting medium-range firepower, which is what all of these are. Every single Warbird other than the Salar, is medium range, which is a bit of a problem for them. So, like, and the Excelsior 2s aren't that bad either. They're a bit expensive, but he can produce so many. So our Federation player, yeah, he's supply blocked. He lost 140 supply in a very short amount of time because of all those warp-in losses. So we've got our Dominion player getting a second large yard. And he is on approximately 3 dilithium, 2 tritanium. We've got our Federation player who's also on 3 dilithium, 2 tritanium. We've got our Romulan player who is on 1, 2, 3, 4 dilithium, about to be 5 dilithium, and 1, 2, 3, 4 tritanium. So he's mining more, but he's also Romulan, so like he's not as good at mass production. And he just bought supply twice. I saw that. He saw he had lots of money, he just hit the supply buy button 2 times. I wonder if he's getting any upgrades. Oh yeah, and improved weapons. He does have a lot of tritanium. Oh, yep, and there's something he captured. Who is... Oh, okay. Coming in and killing off this mining. So it looks like Vastrakal is not going to hit 5 dilithium moons. But, like, because he doesn't have the ability to build good turrets like the others do. So, like, there's a perimeter here. That's going to defend that a lot. There's a torpedo turret here. That's going to defend that a lot. So this is actually a very balanced setup. With our Romulan player has higher income than the other two, but he's Romulans. And then our other player is... Ooh, that's going to be rough. Our Federation player has warp-ins. And then our Dominion player is finally getting his economy going. And it looks like this is no longer a 2 versus 1 against NiveusLuna, that's for sure. Yeah, he had a sensor platform in case of cloakers needed a torpedo platform. But you see, even with that, like, stuff's dying, but these S2s can still die. Like, this S2 can still get killed. Now, the Excelsior 2s are a powerful ship. They have the special that lets them... It removes their mischance, which is very good against, like, S2s, because normally they would have a 40% mischance, and that eliminates it entirely for a little while. And they do, you know, torpedoes do good damage. They also have the ACS torpedo, which does bonus damage to battleships, which all of the Romulan ships are battleships. So the Excelsior 2s are very good at dealing damage. However, they're also long range. And the Norexans deal 50% bonus damage to long range, and so do the S2s. So everything does bonus damage to these Excelsior 2s. Oh, NiveusLuna has these repair queues going on. Too many ships sent to repair at once, man. You got to get these guys back. Oh, and since you enter the repair yards from the top, oh, this is so tricky. They're really ganging up on him. Chips is retreated with a lot of his stuff, although he's still like right on the fringes. Vastrakal is still playing around, but I think he got a couple kills. That has low crew. Oh no, not a lot. And then the torpedo turret just shoots from time to time. Oh, that's gonna die. Oh, that's the B5 prototype that died. That's like... B5 prototypes cost like 150 supply. They're extremely supply expensive, and he didn't have any queued, so he's gonna have to rebuild the prototype if he wants those. Although at this point he might just switch over to V13s. And more repair queues. NiveusLuna really slamming that repair button a bit too much. Yeah, more torpedoes. Torpedo turrets also do extra damage to medium range, so they do extra damage to the warbirds. But as you can see, there's just so much chaos going on. People are having a lot of trouble controlling their ships. That Intrepid got captured by 2 beamings from that. And now they're going to take out the torpedo turret if he's not careful. But they're retreating. I don't know how often Vastrakal loses ships. I think most of, if not every single ship that Vastrakal has lost, other than miners, has been a Federation ship that he stole. Nope, no. Don't chase. Yep. The AI is just bloodthirsty. Everybody's AIs are trying to get their ships to go out and attack. And the players are constantly having to keep them home. I'm curious if people are going to get late game upgrades. Unfortunately, I can't see what upgrades they've already gotten. Hashtag only Triptych. Just Triptychs mod things. In Triptychs mod, you can actually look at one of these stations in the next version and see how many upgrades the player has. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. That's cloaking out. That might not cloak out successfully. Oh, that was really close. You were quite lucky you didn't die there. And the turret's sitting there. I mean, you could get like, you could build a single Norway and just like go repair it. Oh, they're chasing, but that's, you don't want to chase that. That is too many warbirds. That is way too many warbirds for you, man. Yep, and he turns back. I don't think he even realized they went out. Everybody's ships are just moving on their own, but this is going to become a very serious problem. All these Nyrexans built up. And the Tavaras are still just constantly, every single fight that happens, they capture a single ship. Because the two Tavaras just attack something. No, 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 no. No, no. What are you doing? No. That's not okay. Yes, you'll do a lot of damage to one Nyrexan. No, you won't get a kill. And now all your ships will die because Excelsior 2s can't retreat. Because they don't fire their torpedoes backwards. Hashtag just Triptych mod thing. In Triptych's mod, I made it so that the Excelsior 2s can actually fire their torpedoes backwards. Because they're already so slow and vulnerable, like, I think they'll still be totally killable. And now, NiveusLuna, his mining up here has been down for quite a while, and so is this one. He has to rebuild that. So he's only on one dilithium moon. The Dominion come over here and delete a mining expansion. Now this is the fight that I want to see. This could be very interesting. The Nyrexans are, some of them have power. They're just gonna wail on this guy. But come on, like the Dominion don't seem to want to engage, but I think they should. Your guys are short range. You're not going to be able to run away very effectively. But if you stay and fight, I think you could actually kill some Romulan ships. There we go. Okay, you got to focus fire though. You got to focus the entire fleet on one target all at once. The S2s aren't shooting. The S2s are just the S2s are short-range ships. Oh, wow, the fighter craft actually finish off a Nyrexan. That might be the first warbird to die this game. There you go. Okay, yeah, the S2s are... No! Stop it! I think he must be giving repair orders. So there is a bug that can happen sometimes where if you select a group of ships and then you switch to one of them and give it a repair order too fast, it gives the repair order to the entire fleet, which can be very troublesome. But, like... Oh, the thing about S2s is they do not skirmish. You don't skirmish with S2s like this. You don't sit and like fly back and forth with S2s. S2s have short range and they can fire in any direction. They have to brawl. So like you can't just be like, oh, we're going to trade shots. No, stop. If your S2s are going to fight, oh, no, you can't have trickle in. If your S2s are going to fight, you have to send your entire fleet of S2s in all at once, and they all have to focus a single target and kill it, and fight until they're dead, because, oh, I think that was just a mismark. Yeah, he's got to be really careful. He does have a second perimeter, so, like, it's not like this can fall. So basically, Vastrakal owns the right-hand side of the map. Chips owns this section of the map. And Luna, I mean, his turret's actually recovering pretty fast. Actually, Luna's in the worst shape at the moment, just because of that nasty double team that happened to him earlier. He's got another warping ready, no supply. Oh, and his supply buy is probably like 1,000 dilithium, or no, it's probably more. He's probably made it up to the, I want to say like the 1250 supply buy, which is going to make it really difficult for him. And he really, Luna has no hope of ever going over 3 moon pairs in this game. Which, honestly, you may not need more than 3, depending. However, over here, yeah, the sheer economic advantage of Vastrakal is really going to start coming into play. Chips has not gotten any ship upgrades. And now we have advanced weapons on the Romulans, and probably some of the shielding upgrades as well. So, like, these Romulan ships, I think each offense upgrade is 6%. So they have 12% increased offense right now from double offense upgrades, which means even when they go into a fight against, you know, these Dominion ships, the sheer upgrade level of the Romulans is going to really help them out. By the way, he's really mixed up a bit. He's gotten some Salars in there. Ooh, you should get the Salar Special. There he goes. Salar Special is a single target stun, which is very nice for that skirmishing. Yeah, you can just, you can lock down a single ship that was trying to run and guarantee a kill on it. It also is very effective against things like a turret. You can stun the turret. Oh, shoot. Romulan Scout gets caught out by that Federation Scout. Rebuilding. Rebuilding. Third large yard. Chips is saying, I've kind of had it with these S2s. Oh, no, I'm actually still building S2s, but T-15s. T-15s are a very tricky ship. They hard counter short range. So they will hard counter like the Intrepids. They hard counter Lavals. But against battleships, because they're a pulse ship, they're primarily a pulse weapon. They do have a torpedo weapon that only fires at short range, but its damage is incredibly low, so it's not even worth mentioning. It does 2 damage per second. So against large ships like warbirds, your offensive value of your T-15s is greatly reduced. The T-15 exists to hunt small, short-range ships. Triple T-15 production is not going to do well against these enemy compositions. Specifically against the warbirds. The T-15s are not going to be able to fight the warbirds. And when you get into these big fleet compositions, there's a whole lot to keep track of. The biggest thing is, what is your lowest defensive value, though? What is in your fleet? What ship has the lowest defense value? Because that one's going to get shot first. And this one, it's absolutely the S2s. So, for example, if you had V-13 battleships and then you added some T-15s in, you get this very powerful effect where the T-15s are your lowest defense ship, and they will get targeted before the battleships. But that only works if your fleet doesn't contain any ships with lower defense. Another good combo is T-15s and B-8s, because the B-8s actually have slightly higher defense. But as long as these S2 escort cruisers are in here, they're going to be the ones that get targeted first. So it might even be a good idea to mix them up a bit, like send these guys over and just like raid some more mining. The only person who actually has undefended mining expansions is Vastrakal right now. But yeah, like, and if your S2s are going to fight, they have to dive on the enemy. I would even have them in a separate control group from the T-15s and the B-5s, because the B-5s are slower, and you see when you move like this, the S2 escort cruisers are actually slowing down their maximum speed to match the other ships. Even though the T-15s and the B-5s are also pretty fast, the S2s will actually move faster if you give them a move order on their own, separate from the other ships. It's like the difference between like 110 and 140. Maybe 120 and 140, but they are slightly faster if you give them move orders on their own. Luna has finally gotten his supply by, but his economy is in shambles. He's getting a bit more money here. He has a torpedo turret. What was that? Oh no! Oh no! The perimeter range. They're so close. Okay, yeah, we got NiveusLuna using some specials the way you're supposed to, getting a handful of kills, but oh no, I had no idea the range was that long. So the perimeter's range is so high, it can drop explosives on the repair queue of Luna. Wow, that is insane. I guess it's because it's using it right at the edge of its range. Let's see. Do we have a mouse over? No, we don't have a mouse over for artillery range. But it's like here, and when it goes off, it has an area effect. So for our random placement game, the guys were asking me what was the best map for 3 vs 3 free-for-all, and I told them honestly none of them were really that good. But I figured this one might work because, hopefully it would be kind of tricky to take the side position. But since Chips hasn't really tried to fight for the side position, he hasn't really gone for this position all that hard, it really is turning against Luna. Luna's definitely getting the worst draw of this game. Oh, look at that. just because he's got people on both sides of him. And, you know, having all these warpins and losing all these warpins are eventually going to take a really nasty toll on his supply. Because like, he's going to get to the point where supply starts costing him 1,500, and at that point he just can't afford it anymore. Well, the Dominion, actually the Romulans, their supply is probably pretty expensive too. Oh, also, Spy Station is online. So basically, we don't see this too often, but it's pretty awesome. It has 3 abilities. Well, it starts out with 2 abilities. The first ability costs 1 supply and places a spy on a random enemy ship or station. So just somewhere in the universe. But it costs 150 energy, so you can do it like 6 times when you're at full energy. And that'll give you a good idea. It can also place them on cloaked things. If it goes on a cloaked ship, you don't get to see what it is, but you do get to follow it around. Like your vision follows it. It's pretty awesome. The second ability is Saboteur Agent, which it puts a negative effect on that ship. On a random ship that has a spy. So, for example, if you drop 1 spy, it lands on this ship, then you could do Saboteur Agent and it would hit this ship. And you could do it like 3 times, depending on how much energy you have. The Intelligence Center actually ranks up, and with each rank it gets more energy, so a higher level Intelligence Center is more likely to kill something, because you just like sabotage, sabotage, sabotage until it dies. But that costs like 4 or 5 supply a pop, so it gets supply expensive. And then the third ability is once you have used it enough to rank it up, usually by dropping spies a bunch, it gains the Spy Report ability, which gives you vision over every station on the map for a while. So that's just automatic. You get to see every station and what its vision can see for a while. Oh no, what is this? A side detachment of Federation trying to come around. I don't know if they're going to get any kills here. It's really hard to tell what they're shooting at. Okay, there's a Sailor taking damage, but I think it's going to cloak out successfully. And this is just going to be a massacre. Oh no, yeah, the Federation are just getting wiped. Luna's going to have to retreat. He was not in a position, like, I think Luna kind of felt like he had no choice here. Like, you know, he was getting boxed in, the enemy were just, you know, building up, and there was nothing he could do. But he couldn't take this, and that Neurexin, I think, is going to get out. And I think, other than maybe that Rian, the Romulans aren't going to lose a single ship in this fight. However, on the top, we do have a nasty fleet coming in here. And this is the fight that I want to see. I guess for Luna, if he at least manages to get the other 2 to fight, that's already a pretty decent success. Nice little officer to Deradex. No, don't run. Oh, no, why? You're supposed to fight for my entertainment. There we go. Okay, fight. Now you're going to see... Now the Romulan ships are going to die really freaking fast. Yeah, you're just going to see the amount of fire. No, don't run away. You're killing them. That's 3 warbirds, 4 warbirds. Like, this is where it's super dangerous for the Romulans, because even when he popped a special, they have lower rate of fire. All of the Neurexins have already blown their wad and killed off ships, and now it's going to be firmly Dominion advantage. Yeah, the Romulans need to turn tail and run. You need to cloak and run, dude. I mean, he's still causing terrible. Okay, no. The Dominion turned around. There we go. But yeah, another Neurexin. So, like, yeah, the escort cruisers are dying very quickly. But the Romulan ships are dying, and every Romulan ship costs as much as 3 S2s. And the supply cost, which the Dominion basically get for free at this point. So, oh, that's tricky. I would have already retreated if I was the Romulans. He is doing tremendous damage, and he's made it to the T-15. The T-15s have higher offensive value than defensive value. So it's not the worst. You know, he's still getting kills. He's still slaughtering these T-15s. But he's losing ships. Now, the moment... Okay, chips might be losing critical mass, which is huge. The moment chips can no longer kill these ships while they're cloaking out, yep, the battle changes. And you go from warbirds dying left and right to no warbirds dying at all. And then since these T-15s don't shoot backwards, they just have to retreat under fire. So all of a sudden, Vastrakal is no longer going to lose ships, and they're basically immune to enemy firepower. Although you can't get in range of that thing. Okay, he turns around. So, and you know, obviously you got some good ranks on these. I think almost every single S2 died. Well, that one lived, only to die. And now we've got a bunch of ranked up warbirds. And you still got the 2 Tavaras. Oh, maybe he isn't ranking. He isn't going to vet the Dideritics because he wants to vet Tavara, which I am totally on board with. So the veteran Tavara gains the special ability of every other warbird, which means it has multi-purpose weapons. Every multi-purpose weapon shot, or not that one. Every multi-purpose weapon shot takes 66 energy and deals 50 damage and fires once per second. So this guy can use it forever. Like, he will just get an insane increase in offense. Not to mention the defense of a veteran Tavara is like over 200. Also, if you are Muriel and you have Disruptor Bombardment, which he does, that's the stun ability that the Salar gets. A veteran Tavara will get that as well, which means it can stun a single target for like 20 seconds because of its special energy. So like, that's the cube killer. A veteran Tavara can stun a cube for like 20 seconds. So a veteran Tavara can kill a cube by itself, depending on the cube. Oh, para-torpedo turrets. I don't know if I would have gone for this, dude. I would have held back and, you know, rebuilt myself a little bit. But Vastrakal, he smelled blood and he went for it. There's at least one Norexan, probably a second Norexan dying. Yeah, there is cloak detect here. Yep, that's 2 Norexans down for his troubles. Those torpedo turrets are going to be a serious problem here. Honestly, I would consider going for Circus production, the little artillery ships. Circus and 3.27 are actually kind of bugged. Their damage is way higher than their tooltip lists. Oh no! Oh no, the Rien's auto moved. No, you got to bring him back. These torpedo turrets are going to... Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. He sees that was going on. He pops the phase plates, and because phase plates is a replaced weapon, it means any projectiles that are in flight will miss. So by popping phase plates on all the Riens, that volley of torpedoes missed them, and that's gonna be really good. Is he planning to refit these or just go straight Riens? Because I mean, he might be he's probably thinking what I mentioned before, like, oof, yeah. No. Stop your guys from auto-moving. He's probably thinking, yeah, you go into combat, you bring Riens, the enemy starts unloading on them, you pop phase plates, and now the enemy won't auto-target any of your warbirds for a while. And now we're at 4-yard T-15 production. I mean, that'll give you a massive amount of pulse damage. Long-range damage, which doesn't really affect any of these guys. Although the Norexans deal extra damage to long range, so they'll do decent damage to the T-15s. And he's got Norexans and Dideritics. The thing is, actually, even these T-15s, they cost half as much as a warbird. And more importantly, the supply cost is basically free, as opposed to the Romulans you have to buy. It looks like he bought just now. So, continuing with our in-depth discussion of these 3 races. Yeah, the torpedo turrets are good. Continuing to see Excelsior 2 and even Remor production. Remors are a tricky one. I wonder if he's getting the research for them. Or maybe he already did. Oh, Luna finally going up to chassis level 3. Maybe we'll see some big stuff. So, the Sovereign... Once the battle gets to this stage, the Sovereign's combat stats aren't even that good. Just because you'll have so much stuff. However, the Sovereign has one of the strongest abilities in the game, which is the engine overload, which causes a bunch of guys. And the reason it's so dangerous is, like, if these warbirds come over here, if you pop the overload right before they go to turn around and fly back, if they were flying towards you when they lost engines, they will drift. And they'll drift really far. So, like, just having a single Sovereign with its special ability to disable engines on the enemy can mean the difference between, like, 2 warbird kills and 7 warbird kills. The engine disable becomes very powerful, is what I'm saying. Oh, Constructor, a little bit cheeky. Vastrakal was like, hey, maybe I could get a yard over here. But it got scouted. And there's this one as well. Yeah, Vastrakal has actually upgraded his expansion star base all the way. He just had so much money and he had trouble spending it. Yeah, Vastrakal really wondering what to spend it on. Well, at this point, you want Singularity Generics. You want 3 of those because they will recover your special energy, which means specifically it's best on your Norexans because your Norexans will be able to use their multipurpose weapons more. And their Harmonic Implosion does increase the shields of your guys in combat, so that's good. You also want Circus because Circus are artillery units with an area of effect range. It's very difficult to do, but technically you can have a Circus sit outside the range of an artillery range enemy and ground fire. If you shoot at the ground, like right here, the area of effect on the Circus damage will actually hurt the turret, even while the turret can't shoot back. It's really hard to do, because if your guy moves like 2 millimeters forward, then the turret will shoot at him and just... The turret will like one-shot a Circus, so it's really unfortunate. But I think Circus are the way to go at this point. Their area of effect damage is also very deadly against ships that are clustered together. So yeah, you want to get some artillery. Also, you want to use your spy ability some more to get more ranks on your station. Oh yeah, mentioning earlier though, the lowest defense, previously the lowest defense in this fleet was the Norexans, which means they were being auto-targeted. The Salars, for a little while, were the lowest, with only 31 defense, which is pitiful for a battleship. They take half damage from long range, which is super nice against like the Excelsior 2s. But as we saw, also they are long range. So that was why in that Dominion fight, the S2 escort cruisers were doing extra damage to the Salars. And the Salars that he did have in that fleet just, I think there were 3 or 4 of them, or maybe only 2 or 3, but they melted in seconds. And like I said, a Romulan fleet that can't cloak out is a dead fleet. And also, if Chips ever does, you know, tech up to his cloak detect mechanic and start using it, that could be the end for the Romulans. Oh no, more platforms. So let's talk about game enders a bit, or fortification breakers. The Dominion should be getting hyperspace artillery at this point, absolutely. They need a catch-yourself facility for it, but it has a super strategic range, area of effect attack. People usually use it against ships, but it is good against stations. In Triptych's mod, its anti-station damage has been greatly increased. But like the fact of doing damage while not being retaliated on is what's important, because you need to start chipping away at these platforms. The Romulans, like I said, they could use Circus, the little torpedo ship, even though it's very frustrating to micro, and you got to be careful because your Circus will always fly forward a little bit and get themselves killed. They do have tremendous damage output, and they can do a lot against those turrets. For the Federation, they could get a Teutoburg, although its damage is very low. Honestly, Luna has the worst situation right now. Oh, there's a T-15 dying. Okay, we got some Rians. You got to pop phase plates. Oh, okay, so all the Rians are dying super fast. All the Norexans are opening up with their abilities, and the Norexans deal extra damage to T-15s. Don't forget. So yeah, there's a Norexan dying. All the small Romulan ships have already died, and they're starting in on the Norexans, which I think are going to die. Oh, really costly on both sides. Like, the Romulans lost some stuff. Now the Dominion are running, and since they can't shoot backward, they're in huge trouble. Yeah, that's okay. So I think the Romulans came out a bit ahead there. They killed more than they lost, and they ranked. He vetted a Norexan, or is it a Derex? That's sad because now he doesn't have enough veteran slots for a Tavara. A Tavara veteran is like 19 veteran slots out of 25. So you cannot have a veteran Tavara and any other veteran Warbird. So sad. Coming soon, Triptych's mod, where you can increase your veteran cap. So yeah, I guess for the Feds, they kind of have the least amount of siege breaking. Like they could call in a Teutoburg. It would take forever to kill this, and you wouldn't have sensor vision. So I guess if you got a Canaveral and used its special ability, that would give you the sensor vision you needed for the Teutoburg to just start chipping away at this. But it would take a very long time. Like, its passive shield regeneration is almost as high as the damage that a single Teutoburg deals. So the Feds honestly have kind of a rough position. I think Luna mostly just wants to turtle up. He's coming though. Okay, so he does have the precise volley special is very difficult to micromanage. It basically does so much damage to shields. It does like 400 damage to shields that it will lower the shields on a single target immediately. But it's very difficult to order them to use it on different targets. But if he wanted to, he could use them all. If he used all the precise volleys on like the perimeter, he would lower its shields and be able to kill it. Oh man, okay. So the double team has started. Oh, what are you doing? Where are you flying, dude? What command did you give these guys? So we have the Dominion Chips ripping through Luna over here. Luna being hurt by the perimeter, but the Romulans have come in and they're trying to shoot these turrets. Now the turrets are going to spread their fire, which is nice, and honestly these Riens are going to be great just because the Riens will take shots from the torpedo turrets and die, but like these warbirds though, I don't know. I think you wanted to kill the turrets. I guess he can. Okay, there he's going for the turrets now. He got a couple of these. The Excelsior 2s have all used their special, so they were doing quite a lot of damage for a second there. And I think, yeah, it's gonna die. So because there's a sensor platform here, Vastrakal cannot get out. Ooh, descent warband, nice. He might be able to recover shields on these platforms or something. So like, because there's cloak detect here actively, like these guys aren't going to be able to get out. You see, even when the Daenerys cloaks, it'll still be detected, and that torpedo turret might kill it. Oh, nice. Okay, so Vastrakal's still getting some stuff out. He killed 3 torpedo turrets, I think. And this is really the end for Luna. Yeah, he has been double teamed. I feel sorry for him, but you know, the game has to end somehow. Like, we can't have an infinite running game. Okay, so now, honestly, like, you guys need to press this. Like, oh, we might have some Romulan versus Dominion going on here. It's happening. Vastrakal, for just a moment in time, they were like, do we want to team up on the Fed here? And Vastrakal was like, no, the Dominion are the real threat. Oh, dear. You're going to start getting officer T-15s, though, and those are a problem. So the turret's dead. You still got the cloak detect. Both of your Tavaras are, like, fully officered. Another Daenerys. He's going to have an extremely expensive supply buy. Oh, no. Honestly, I don't think you guys should be retreating, though. Like, you guys need to finish him off. I'm sorry, Luna, but, like, the game has to end. Don't let him go. Finish him. Oh, okay, send that to Daenerys back to repair. That's 1,050 dilithium there. But, like, it's time. Okay, at least Vastrakal's going for it. Like, it's time for you guys to end this. You need to kill off Luna. In order for this game to end, people must die. And man, he's still got Excelsior 2s. Like, Luna didn't do bad for someone who got double teamed so fiercely. Like, a lot of stuff has died on both of the guys attacking him. So, a quick talk about Officer T-15s. Where'd it go? So, T-15s have a very interesting mechanic. Basically, when they become an officer, they get this special ability. It's called Implosion Field Device. And it does 80 damage to 4 targets every 25 seconds. And that's that little circle thing you see. This has a powerful meta effect because it has a massively long cooldown, but it triggers the moment you rank up. So the moment you rank up to officer level 1, you get the attack, and it attacks. And if you happen to kill things, in that attack, you might rank up to officer level 2. And officer level 2, it deals 160 damage. So you can get into a situation, if you're fighting small ships with T-15s, you can get into a situation where you rank up, do 80 damage to 4 targets, which is 320 damage, immediately rank up, and then attack again for 640 damage. So officer T-15s, or like, 2 white rank T-15s, can be very dangerous because they have this weird cascade ranking ability that goes on. So be careful around high level T-15s, basically. But this is the end though for the Dominion. Yeah, Vastrakal is finishing them off. Yeah, we saw one of the Arati yards get decommissioned. Honestly, if I was the Romulans at this point, I'd try to capture that. I'd try to board that yard. I mean, Luna would just decommission it anyway, but if you did actually capture that yard, you'd have a good point. Okay, and then the Warbirds are just going for it. They're like, you know what? There's nothing left to support here. And yeah, the area of effect attack doesn't do very much against these guys. Yeah, just because it's the actual amount of damage it does per target is kind of low. And yeah, we see that. So against this, it's really the 92 damage Polaron beam. Well, it's gonna kill a Norexan. But now it's dead, and I don't think there's any more. So it looks like Vastrakal has taken it. The plucky newcomer. And now we see how these guys are all... Another good way these guys can be used is one T-15 can kill a mining expansion pretty easily. So just like send one T-15 over there, send 2 T-15s over here. All this stuff will die. It could be a huge pain. But yeah, there's not enough production left. Interesting to see Warbirds used so well. Although it's not necessarily because it's Warbirds that Vastrakal is doing so well. He's doing so well because he owned half the map. Because Chips didn't really contest him up here, and because Luna had a really hard time like trying to fight into him here, is why that happened. I wonder if maybe Luna could have like stepped his torpedo turrets like 1, 2, 3, 4 over in towards this area. I wonder if that would have helped. But I mean, Luna got the short stick of this entire game. He really did. So I have really enjoyed talking about all of these random ships, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. It was a good game. Everybody played well to their races. Even Chips, who, as he said, is very unfamiliar with Dominion and took a while to figure out what he had. Going back, honestly, a lot of it is just you got to keep exploring the tech tree. Like I say, I'm fairly certain that these Romulan ships all have double offense and double defense upgrades, which means even that fight against the Dominion earlier, it wasn't really a balanced fight because these are all sitting on plus 16% hit points and plus 12% damage on all of their ships. So like, I think that went a long way. If the Dominion had been upgraded, I think they could have done more. If they had like V13s rather than the T-15s, they could have done a bit more to these battleships. What did the Dominion have that beat medium range? Not a lot, because they have bugs. Yeah, destroyers. Other than that, the Dominion don't really have passives that beat medium range. So I think just V13 battleships would have been the answer. Just outproduced, because you can get 2 battleships for the price of a Norexan, almost. And the battleship has basically the same stats as the Norexan, and it has torpedo damage, which is better against large ships, while the Norexan's pulses are better against small ships. So let's see, what else can I talk about while this is going on? What? Ha, he captured an ambassador. Ooh, a pair of descents. Luna saving that up. That is interesting. That costs, what, 20 supply? And then... Oh, dear. Well, it doesn't do much when you get that kind of firepower on you. Yeah, oh, wow. Okay. We're past the point where a shield recharge can keep up with this damage. So these Diderideks, their officer ability is not that one. This one. Their torpedoes basically do a little bit of damage at short range. I'm not sure exactly how it's coded, but I think like they do normal damage at their full medium range, but if the enemy is at short range, then they deal extra damage. It's basically an extra damage ability, or a passive, on the Diderideks. And when all of your Diderideks are officer like this, you know, honestly, their defense only goes up 6. I mean, their offense only goes up 6 from when they're not ranked. But that bonus damage can actually be quite a lot. Doop-de-doo. The poor spy station has been completely forgotten. Although, I mean, he hasn't really needed it. Oh, I'm going to have to ask him after the game, because I haven't been able to pay attention, but I really want to know how much Vastrakal's supply buys are costing him. He's probably at the max. I forget if the max is 1450 or if it's 1750. But the maximum cost supply buy is quite a lot. And this, oh, I was going to see if it would die to the Starbase. But yeah, he's been double yarding warbirds for quite a long time. Wow, you see that just, it's like, these are both like 40 or 50 supply. So he was at 90 supply a second ago, and now he is out again. And in Triptych's mod, they cost even more. In Triptych's mod, the Diderideks became more of a specialized ship. It gains a command bonus for small ships. It gains huge offense-defense buffs. It gains, its special ability gets way stronger. Oh, it goes from 15% to 30%, and it costs 80 supply. So the Diderideks is designed to be like, you only get a handful of them. And then your actual, if you are building a warbird fleet, you can have some Diderideks, but you're mostly going with Norexans and maybe a Tavar or like Salars or something. That's the idea anywhere in Triptych's mod. What actually happens in Triptych's mod is people like building a crap ton of Diderideks and just spending a huge amount of their resources on buying supply, which is another way to do it. Because the Diderideks have such high defense, they're very difficult to kill in Triptych's mod. And obviously, if you have a fleet of Diderideks already and you mix in a single Norexan, well, the Norexan's going to get targeted first and it's going to die very quickly. And so that's why they don't like mixing warbirds. They prefer to just stick with the Diderideks. But in Triptych's mod, like, the idea is, you know, the Diderideks, you get 1 or 2 of them and they give a command bonus to all your small ships, which is nice, but you only need 1 ship to do that. I bet Vastrakal is pretty jealous there. But in Triptych's mod, as I was saying, because the Norexan has a special ability based on using its special energy, it combos incredibly well with the generic Singularity refit, because then the Singularity refits give it more energy during combat, which allows it to keep on shooting its guns, and they allow it to recover its shields through the harmonic implosion. You get generics, Centurions to tank for them. So the idea is the Norexans are part of your balanced Romulan breakfast, while the Diderideks are like, I don't know, your candy. You sprinkle 1 or 2 of them on and it makes it better, but you necessarily want to build an entire fleet out of Diderideks. Welcome. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that match. I'll be signing out now.